Good evening, folks. I am CaptainBladej52, and I am joined by my merry cohorts on this week's episode of Pilot Review. We have, to my immediate right, we have our teacher of the Kirby variety.
Hey, hi-ho, how's it going, folks?
And then to my left, we also have everyone's favorite RP hologram, Artie,
He's
Hey
pointing at
guys.
me.
who is back from his
Oh,
escapades on the holodeck of Tribbles and Rainbow Dash and everything.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
we
said
were
you weren't
very
gonna tell
worried.
anyone.
We were very worried for you, Artie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I lied hardcore about not telling anybody. And we also have our resident Neela Daton, who is running late to the party as usual.
Oh, bite me.
Oh!
And not that I would ever throw him under the bus or anything, but okay, maybe I would.
And I'm not that late because I'm on the stairs, so coming towards you.
But he's still late. But all joking aside and everything, we do have some pretty good stuff to get through this week. So let's go ahead and dive into our articles. First and foremost, we have the brand new Tier 1 Mirandas. As most people know, they released the new bundle this week, which we'll address in a couple of minutes, but in doing so, they also took the time to update the old Tier 1 Miranda models with the new skins. You can kind of see some of the different changes as I'm scrolling down here. We also got the new Saratoga type of ship as well. This is the one that Cisco flew during the Battle of Wolf 359. You can kind of see the little, I guess what you would call side arrays, side parts to the ship.
I thought it was heavy phaser cannons.
Or that. I'm not really sure what you'd call them, to be honest. But down here at the bottom, you can see the old model versus the new model. This is Thomas the Cat that did our blog here. But you can kind of see the side-by-side comparison. Now, all of the old Mirandas, Tier 1s that were out there, did update to this new skin automatically, I believe. So, very nice thing as far as that goes. But thoughts from our panel on this?
I really love it. It looks so fine detailed. I'm so excited.
Yeah, the details are really there. It looks like it's going to be, for those of you that love to fly these ships that you've seen in the shows and the classics, this is going to be a fun one to fly.
And it's a lot cleaner.
I can definitely agree with that. But to me, it kind of looks like the one on the left, the old ones, was just that. An old, worn-down ship. Doesn't look like it's got much life left in it. Whereas the new model is just like something you would see straight out of the movies. Something you'd see straight off of the Trek screen, and it makes the ship look a heck of a lot better, in my opinion. But,
I could see that.
yeah, definitely, like you guys were saying, a lot cleaner than before and everything. But I personally don't think I have seen a Miranda look this good in a game that's had them, at least with a model similar to this. Last time I saw one that good was back in the old Star Trek Starfleet Academy game back in the 90s, and that's saying something.
Oh, I can agree to that.
Dang.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's just
that's quite a while.
that's the last one I know of anyway that at least attempted this model and did very good with it. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion on that. But anyways, moving right along. Speaking of our cruiser bundle, we have our announcement.
Okay. The Advanced Light Cruiser bundle This shows off that we get a Tier 6 version of the Miranda, which is known as the... Oh, where's the name of it?
Reliant.
The Reliant class, right. Next with that, we get the Klingons with the Hoop Advanced Light Battle Cruiser and the Deleth Advanced Light Warbird. I'll have to say these ships, from just how they look, their abilities, and the starship trait, well done. It looks really very, very useful. If you're there for just the looks, they do look very new, stylish to the new 25th century ships, like with the most recent the Pathfinder, not the Pathfinders. It's the new Vestas, the Tier 6 Vestas. They do look like that, very similar to that anyway. What do you guys think about it?
They definitely do look interesting, as does the console that comes with it.
There's
Definitely looks like it's... Yeah. I'm down at the bottom of the article.
If you guys are wondering, the console is the console universal potential energy entangler. Activating this console will siphon off energy from your foe's weapon output and use it to provide a speed and maneuverability burst to your ship. I feel like that would actually work very well.
Very nice.
For those of you that like to go fast, yeah, that may be interesting. Yes. I can see one particular person in our group getting that, using that console.
To me, the KDF ship looks kind of like a weird cross between a Negvar and a Brel bird of prey.
I could see that.
There's actually...
Yeah.
If you guys were able to catch, some of our viewers out there and everything, if you were able to catch the stream that they did when they were showing off the ships, there was actually a running gag between Kale and some of the artist guys as to what they were supposed to call it, and they settled on the Kapoo.
Kapoo.
Yes, the Kapoo for the KDF ship. And
I hope I never have to run across that in RP.
Oh, that would be funny. And the Romulan one, to me, if you've ever played the old Star Trek Armada 2, it looks like the spitting image of the Kestrel class, if you ever played that game.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
If we're also going off with the Star Trek Armada idea, it kind of looks like the Shadow as well, from the front.
I suppose I could see that up a little bit. Like the...
But yeah, for me, the Klingon one, I first saw it, I'm like, Mev?
All these Armada references.
Oh, yeah. Probably dating ourselves a little bit there, too, but...
Yeah.
Okay, Armada 1 and 2 were amazing.
Oh, yes,
And then the mod for Sins of the Solar Empire, Star Trek Armada 3, is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I still play the living crap out of Armada 2, so... Yeah. And I'm probably going to play it after we get done with the show, just saying, now that he said that. But, But anyways, we should probably move along to our actual stats blog, for those of you that are curious about the ships.
Yep. We have the stats for all three ships. For the Reliant class Advanced Light Cruiser, you get a Lieutenant Commander Universal and Pilot Specialist Bridge Officer seat. You get the hull strength at level 50 is 39,675. At 60, even 46,000. Shield mod 1.1 for fore and fore aft for device. You get your 1 Lieutenant Commander TAC, 1 Ensign Engineering, 1 Commander Engineering, 1 Lieutenant Science, 1 Lieutenant Commander Universal / Pilot. You get 3 Tactical and 4 Engineering, 3 Science consoles. Base turn rate is 11. The starship trait you get from that is the Evasion Specialist. I can't see what it is now.
Evasion Specialist, when you activate emergency power to engines or a pilot ability, it gives you shield hardness and shield regeneration for 5 seconds, and this applies every 15 seconds.
Yep. Thank you, Kirby, for that.
You're welcome.
I was holding control and then moved my mouse wheel. It zoomed me out. Can't see it.
No.
The Admiralty ship stats for the Reliant is 47 inch, Science 25, TAC 36, and Special 2.5 bonus from Engineering. Now moving on to the Advanced Light Warbird Battlecruiser. Comes with a Lieutenant Commander Universal / Pilot Specialist Officer. Hull strength 43,642 at 50, 50,600 at 60. Shield mod, it's about the same as the Reliant, except you get 1.155. Same weapons, same bridge officers, all that good stuff. Same trait. Admiralty ship is different. The inch is 51, science is 27, tech is 39, and the special is 2 times bonus from events.
And it does gain a console in the tactical console slot as well.
Oh, you're right, Doug. I misread that and saw 3 there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Admiralty card for that, though, the 2 times bonus from events, that is actually a good bonus. Not even for events, for the Admiralty card, missions. Because I find that even non-event stuff, you'll have a better chance to get better stuff. Moving on to the Kapoo Advanced Light Battlecruiser. Same Lieutenant Commander Universal Pilot seat. You can get it from the C-Store, and you can get it when you're the fleet version at Tier 2 Fleet Shipyard. Same thing with the Reliant and the Advanced Light Warbird. The hull strength for that is 45,540 at 50. Is that a 52?
Yeah, 52,800 at level 60.
On my screen, that looks like an S.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks to be the tankiest out of the 3.
Yeah.
And that's the fleet one, yeah.
Oh, that's the fleet? Whoops.
Mhm.
That is the fleet one.
My bad. I'm looking
That's
at
the
the wrong one then.
52,800.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I always just say fleet, so. No, shield modifier is the 1.155 for aft, 3 device slots. Bridge officer spots the same. You get 4 tack for engineering, 3 science. Base turn rate 11. 0.17 impulse and inertia 40. You also get a innate cloaking device, plus 10 to weapon power and plus 10 to engine power. And you can load dual cannons. And the Admiralty ship stats for that is 59 engineering, 24 science, and 34 tactical.
One important thing I wanted to note, it does have the cruiser command array, however, it does not have the attract fire command. So while you can still tank with it, that specific command array is not available. Important thing to note.
Why would you want to tank with that?
Why would you not?
Why would you want to tank
Why
with
wouldn't
the
you?
Miranda?
Yeah.
You can do that with the other one.
Now here's the interesting thing. The Miranda does have attract fire on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Kapoo does not.
I found that quite a few ships, KDF side, whatever I've been playing, actually don't have the attract fire.
I guess they're expecting them all to play like Raiders. Cloak, decloak, drop everything, recloak again.
I'd say more so you get a lot of threat in your opening volley, and then you kind of go from there. At least that's what I personally would get from that. But
But
go ahead.
from all three ships, you get a console universal, which is the potential energy in tank. When you activate the guns, wait, no, we already talked about that.
Romulan one.
We did that one too.
Did we?
Yeah, it's the same.
Because they're on the KDF, yeah. Well, the thing with the Romulan one does not have the command array at all. Interesting difference.
Indeed.
But it does have the singularity warp core abilities, obviously.
Now there was actually, some people brought something to my attention that I can actually share a little bit from Ambassador Kale and the devs. If you're somebody that likes to use cannons and everything, then you may have noticed that the Miranda actually, the Tier 6 version, cannot load cannons. At least dual cannons, that is. And you may have moused over some of your cannons, been excited to throw them on the ship, all that stuff. You go to do it, and you realize, wait a minute, it says like cruiser, but I can't put them on here. Well, the way it was explained to me, and this came directly from Bordicus, who relayed it through Ambassador Kale, was that the Tier 1 ship is actually an exception to the rule of cruisers being allowed to implement cannons on the build. The reason they allowed the Tier 1 version of the Miranda to load cannons is because for the longest time, for a very low-level character, that's the only ship you're going to be able to fly. And they didn't want you to be able to not use a weapon, such as, say, you got dual cannons as a reward from a mission, or you got it as a piece of loot. They didn't want you to not be able to use that weapon, so that's one reason why they allow the Tier 1, but not the Tier 6 to use the cannons. And everything. I did try to talk them into letting us use cannons on all of the ships, but sadly that did not go the way I wanted it to.
Aww.
But
Aww.
I can understand their reasonings for it and everything, especially when it was explained that way. But it is one little thing. Yeah.
So, cannon enthusiast, you have a champion.
Yep. I did try to convince them to do it for you guys, but when it was explained that way, it's just like, yeah, that makes sense and everything. However, there is a fleet mate of mine who has been experimenting with single cannons on the ship and has actually been getting some pretty good results from it.
And just slap turrets on the thing.
He could. But, yeah. Just figured I would point that out for you guys and everything, because there were a few people that were asking me, why can't this thing load cannons on it? But, anyways, we should probably move along to our next big thing. We'll have all this stuff in the notes for you guys once the local recording goes up, so you can check this stuff out. And we have the Season 13 Escalation coming to the consoles.
Yes. Coming to consoles. So PC has already had Escalation for a month now. Wow. And so Xbox One and PlayStation get to join in on the fun starting on June 6th. So they'll get to hear the story of the Lucarii and the Zenkathi. And it will continue on to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So you'll also get the competitive war games like Binary Circuit and the Reputation. So there you go. So you get Season 13 Escalation with the competitive war games, Reputation, and the new STFs with that, and get to learn all about the Lucarii and the Zenkathi. Starting June 6th. Comments? Questions? Anybody?
I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah,
I'm happy the console guys are catching up real quick.
They
That's a
are.
good thing.
They are.
I know some of the console guys, at least some of the ones I see around various groups and everything, they're kind of glad that they're about to be caught up and everything, so it's something cool.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we will have this in the notes for you guys. And moving along to the next big thing, we have the Borg Red Alert weekend for our console players. Now, we've had the Borg Red Alerts for a good while on the PC and everything, so for you guys, now's a good chance to go out there, smack some Borg around, and get some nice little bits of marks and other goodies from this. But, any thoughts from our panel?
Yes. The Borg Red Alerts are always fun. I don't know, it used to be on PC that you'd get double XP from Borg Red Alert, but I'm not sure if that's so.
I think it's 1.5 now. I'm not sure.
Is it? Okay. Because I know they changed it, but I'm not sure if it's double XP for the console. But Borg Red Alerts are always fun regardless. Get to go around and smack some Borg, as Darkblade says.
Yep, I don't think, like Artie said, I don't think it's hardly a 2 times XP. I want to think
Yeah.
you still get a little bit of an XP boost compared to a normal mission and everything. Don't quote me on that. But I definitely do believe you're not getting the 2 times like you were before. But
besides that, I think it's really nice that they have a little bit of like a RP little section right above. They tell you, oh yeah, this is happening. It's like in the mind of the second officers on a specific ship and all this. It's just like you're reading a bit of his log, and then it drops you in a little bit.
It draws you in, yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I just like how it does that. Whoever they have writing all this stuff, props to them, you know?
absolutely, the writers definitely do some good work for the game. But we will have this in the notes for you guys. You'll be able to check out the little RP blog and everything. But moving along, we have the Mirror Invasion event for the PC.
Okay. The Mirror Invasion is back. As we know, the Terrans are deciding to go, hey, we need to go kick the behind of the guys in the Prime universe. So we're like, well, we're not going to have that. Starting Thursday, May 18th, and ending on June 8th. We have to go defend Volatile Station as usual and make sure the Terrans don't take a foothold as usual. During the days of the event, you'll be able to get one multi-dimensional transporter. When you get to do the event, you're only able to get that in the daily period. Once you get the turning in 14 in your reputation system, the players will be able to receive 50,000 dilithium ore, 500 fleet marks, 250 marks of your choice, as well as the brand new unique console Interphasic Instability. The device itself apparently lets you infect a enemy for one time for debuffing them, as well as giving you a bunch of resistance and making them lose a whole bunch of resistance. So there's that.
Actually, scroll
yeah.
over it for people.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the actual stats are for the device. I have not been able to see this myself, but it's the usual for the past few events. The one big difference, they don't have a little cutscene for when the flagship shows up, so that's about it.
Yeah. Other than that, it's the same as what we played before. It is time gated, so no matter what you do, you're going to be in there for 10 minutes for the first phase. The second phase, if you can get through it fast, that's the one where you can speed it up a little. But you're going to be in there for at least 10 minutes, usually about 13 to 15. But yeah.
But,
it is a fun cube. By the end of the 3 weeks, if you're like me and putting 15 tunes through it, by the end of 3 weeks, you're going, no, open Zach. But yeah, I'm nuts like that.
It happens.
For everybody that can see it on the camera and everything, I've had the mouse over so you can see the stats you're looking at. This is the pure stats from inside the game itself. You have 5% damage and 7.5% max hull cap. As the passive, you can see the radiation damage and everything is it'll probably be a little bit higher because I am on ground at the moment. But does a little bit of radiation damage per second to the target, to foes and their allies within 3 kilometers of the primary target. Minus 25 all damage resist and minus 50% speed and turn rate. And it's only 2-minute cooldown. So definitely something that I can see being a potent little kick in the pants.
Sounds pretty cool.
But anyways, we will have all this stuff in the notes yet again for you guys. And moving along, we have a Marks weekend for, I believe this is...
PC.
I think so. Actually, I think it might be all three, sorry.
Yeah, when they posted it, they said it was PC, but then a bunch of people were saying, oh, it's not a console too. So it might be for all three. But that's besides the point. Basically, started this past Thursday to the 22nd of May. Basically, any content that you can earn marks from, you'll get double the marks. 50% by 1.5 times. Bonus above normal amounts. But yeah, that's really all that is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
Marks weekends are always nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
with the Terran invasion happening at the same time, oh yeah.
Not for me, it's not. One character,
Why?
one character almost has max marks you can hold.
Really?
Wow.
Well
Well,
then.
why don't you go and spend some of them, dude?
Because I'm lazy and I don't feel like it.
That's the best excuse.
It's because
I
he's
know,
weird.
right? Well, we
And
knew
I like
that.
to hit. I like to hit the max on the marks because it's fun. And then I spend a little, get the max back, spend a little on deal, get the max back, spend a little on deal.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, man. That's
Yeah.
dang.
Because anymore, I'm just like, whatever. See, I come in game and party with my fleet. That's basically it.
Nah, that I can believe.
Yeah.
Radio parties and all that.
Yep.
But shameless plug. Curtain pirate radio, subspace radio.
Yep, definitely get out there and farm those marks, folks. Now's the best time to do it. But moving right along, we have the PC patch notes for the 18th.
All right. So, actually, this is a mid-size thing of patch notes. So we got, of course, the art for Miranda has been updated. And Twin Tribulations had a couple of issues resolved. So things that could block progression. So nice getting those resolved. Because, of course, we don't want to get stuck in a board cube and that kind of stuff. Resolved a graphics-related crash issue. Words. There was a resolved an issue for the new Romulus Underground Ruins mission. So the exit caves button should now appear only after finishing the instance. And the player may still leave at any time using the door at the start of the caves. And there's also a few things with, for example, scramble fighters. Now was not properly interacting with damage immunity lockout. They are now. Let's see, battle consumables will now refresh their cooldowns when the player is no longer in a match, so they can be used for the next match. Competitive wargame marks are now included in most mark of choice reward packs, and I can verify they are included in the Mirror Invasion choice mark reward packs. So if you're one that wants to get some extra competitive marks, competitive wargames marks, you can do that through the Mirror Invasion. There are a couple resolved issues with the wargames consumables. Where destroyed posts will drop the buff from unstoppable when it should only be enemies that drop the buff. So we definitely want to make sure that was resolved. Good thing. Automated defense turrets did not target sensor pylons. They do now. And the stack limit has been increased to 999. There are a few things with the UI. Let's see. Bridge Officer Promotion pop-up will now list available expertise. Skill drop-down UI box would appear out of place when attempting to sort queue list by skill. Double-clicking a queue will now toggle the checkbox. Resolved an issue where the timer is not reset for accepting a queue when all but one player declines and another player is matched. So basically these things have all been resolved, and then resolved an issue where the target information was missing while in shooter mode. That's an important one. Okay, anybody have any comments on any of these? Notice anything I skipped over?
You missed one.
I was kind of skimming.
No, I'm not saying
What
you
I
missed
miss?
one under the UI.
Did I? What I miss?
Bridge Officer Promotion pop-up will now listed
No, they
available
mentioned
No, I
expertise.
did. I said it.
Right before doing shooter mode.
I said it.
I did not hear.
I did not.
I was
know
kind of
that.
out of order.
Anyway. And
Okay.
one thing
Yeah,
I
personally-
do see in chat
what?
right quick is we have one guy telling us that the Marks weekend is actually not on the console. So I guess that's our
Okay.
confirmation there, just to be sure. Thank you for telling us that,
There
dude.
you go.
We
Thank you,
weren't
dude.
entirely sure. But anyway, continue, Sir Artie.
I do see. Personally, I'm happy that the automated defense turrets are able to, stack to 999 because that's just I could just now put them in my inventory and just wait until I'm running out of the device line. Just like boom, there you go.
Yes. From the way I read this, all War Games consumables will stack to $9.99.
I'm reading the wrong thing. All right, that makes sense. That made much more sense.
Yeah.
I was like,
And now
defense
you're
turrets.
even happier.
I'm even happier now because now I can just stack in all the revives, not have to worry about anything. Oh, you blew me up? No, you didn't.
I do see
Yep.
the graphics crash. Always glad to see stuff like that getting fixed because it's not really fun whenever you're crashing to the desktop all the time.
I always like to see, like I said, things that would block progression getting fixed. Those are always a good thing.
Indeed. But we will have this in the notes for you guys yet again. You can check out the patch notes and everything and whatnot. If you see any of these issues cropping back up, please do speak up, let Cryptic know, come onto the forums and give them a shout. But moving along, we actually have the interview with Kip Lee Brown, who is the voice of Kumarke. I've not had a chance to listen too much to it yet, but yeah, Ambassador Kale was able to sit down with her and do an interview. There's full recording you can listen to, or you can skim through it and read the transcript of the interview. But yeah, any thoughts from you guys?
I've been able to pick through a little bit of it. I haven't been able to listen to all of it, but I was excited that this happened because I knew she was in Enterprise for like an episode, I think it was, or a few episodes as a background character, really. And as you can see in the images in the thread, that's just like, yeah, here's the other things that she was a part of, and it's a really good interview because it tells you more of herself, more of a backstory of the voice behind Kumarke. And I'm just like, this is always a plus to hear about voice actors, so I'm happy.
But what about you, Neela or Kirby? Any thoughts?
Where this is, if you're gonna listen to it, the part where she does the accent that she tried first, making it sound more Transylvanian accent instead of the British accent that she used. Makes it sound like a little bit of Jackala.
Yeah, nice.
That's, yeah. I know, I did get a chance to meet her briefly in Vegas, and I can tell you she is very excited and really loves the character. It's a very personal thing for her. She really loves it and is very passionate, I think is the right word. So I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole interview, but I can imagine she would really be a fun interview. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, we will
But yeah.
That, I guess, kind of sums up from what we've been able to do. We've been kind of slacking on our blogs and listening to the interviews and stuff lately, but yeah, we'll definitely have this in the links for you guys so you can check out the interview for yourselves and give it a listen and everything. But moving on, we have the first look at Star Trek Discovery. I believe this one is mine.
No.
It's Artie's.
Artie's
Don't steal my
Artie's all
thunder.
excited.
Don't steal my thunder.
Artie's all excited.
I don't know what-
He's like, no.
And for folks wondering, we usually have an order we go in. I get the order screwed up every single episode, just about it. But yeah.
Okay.
And it works because even though he had the budget build done early, he always messes something up during the show. So
Yep.
it evens out.
It wouldn't be PRS if we didn't screw something up.
Yep.
Okay, on to Star Trek Discovery. We see the first look of the trailer. I'm not going to give any spoilers to what you hear or see in it. In this web article as well, you see the images that you may see in the trailer, as well as the opening poster and all that. Personally, I'm excited. There's a whole lot new to it. It gives you more of a feel of the new Trek that you've been seeing. I have not been able to find out if this is following the Prime Universe or the Kelvin timeline or not, but from what I've been seeing so far from just the first look and from what I've heard about it, a lot of people are very excited for it just because it's new Star Trek. We haven't had a Star Trek series in a long time. So we're hoping this, builds our bridge to having more Star Trek series in the future. But yeah, you can get to the trailer by just literally searching Star Trek Discovery on Google or something, and you'll find the trailer immediately. So, good luck. Hope you have a good time watching the trailer as much as I did.
Yes, I enjoyed the trailer too. I thought it was very interesting. I am looking forward to seeing the episodes. I do hope CBS reconsiders and releases it on regular television.
Yeah, Star Trek's not a niche group anymore. It's very widespread. Anyone would watch Star Trek, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see that hurting the series if it's released purely on All Access, because there's a lot of people, myself included, that even though we probably could, we're not going to pay monthly like that just to watch, because I find that a little ridiculous myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the sad part to it.
Oh, yeah. As far as the series, from what I saw in the trailer, for me personally, I'm one of the people that I'm not entirely convinced yet. I don't think that the trailer really, at least for me, gave me everything that I'm looking for to tell me if it's a series I would enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I'm definitely glad to see Star Trek on the air again, because, hey, cool, Trek. But I need to see a little bit more from it before I'm 100% sold, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean. I had the same feeling when I watched it. I was like, ooh, I don't know. I see the characters. I'm okay with the characters, but, like, the visuals, it doesn't, like... Some people have already told me, like, oh, it doesn't look like canon. Those guys don't look like how they did in TOS. I'm just like, oh, well. Maybe they want to do a more explanation on why they don't, or if they do, or something like that. Personally, I may not be interested, but I still am going to see it just so I've said I've seen it when it first came out. For the price issue, I mean, I know it's just like, I don't even know, like, what, $10 basically?
It's
4
about
months?
7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah. So, personally, if you don't feel like just buying it yourself and just you watching it, I mean, you get like 10, 20 other people if you just be like, yeah, well, it's on, let's all watch it together, and only one person pays it, and then they just, pay every other week, you know what I mean? I mean, every other month. So one person picks the bill, I guess you can say. But
I can see that.
Personally, I'm excited. I don't know what they're going to be doing. Make your own, ideas to what you see in the trailer. So, good luck.
I think the other thing to keep in mind, too, for some people that think, well, it doesn't look like the original series, as far as some of the sets, the costume stuff like that, that is correct. Kind of a cross between TOS and Enterprise is what I'm seeing. And as well, keep in mind, as far as when this series is produced versus when the original series was produced, we're talking a difference of at least 50 years. So the stuff that they have, even though from what I'm seeing is this is set before TOS, that's keep in mind everything's going to look a lot cleaner because we have a lot better tech, a lot better effects and stuff than they had back then.
True, very true.
But
I will say I did see some lens flares, so I feel like Abrams is somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
oh Lord.
Like it just like pan shots to the bridge and then lens flare. I'm like, oh no, not again.
Though do be careful, folks, with your pitchforks and your torches and everything and all that good stuff, and let's wait and see what all they come up with before we decide if we actually love it or hate it or not. But yeah. But
And if it is hated, Pilot Review Show will be selling pitchforks and torches.
We can also do bulk sales if you're into that.
and leave it to Kirby to try to capitalize on it, though I'm not really surprised. It's her inner Ferengi coming out.
Yep. Hey,
But,
we gotta pay for getting to Vegas somehow, you know.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
that is true. But we will have this in the notes for you guys through the article that we had in our notes. Actually links to the YouTube trailer, so y'all can check that out. But moving right along, we have our 20% ship sale for the PC.
Yep.
Yes.
And with that, it started on Thursday, May 18th during the patch, and and it goes till Monday the 22nd at 10 a.m. PST. All ships and dry dock slots in the C store at 20% off. Include bundles which are comprised only of ships. Does not include bundles that have items other than ships in them. The upgrade token, ship upgrade token bundle, and fleet module, 20% off as well. Every time a player buys a tier 5 ship, they receive a free ship upgrade token. So it's a win-win on that one. Only occurs when the tier 5 ship is bought for the first time on an account. The claim for this token will appear in the promotions tab, so if you did buy a tier 5 ship and you didn't see where your upgrade token is, that's where it is. It's in the promotion tab. When you could claim, they will receive a bound to account ship upgrade token in the inventory, and the product will disappear from promotions. The tokens stack too, so if you buy 3 tier 5 ships at once, you can claim all at once. Tier 5 ship bundles will have the equivalent amount of tokens as the number of ships in the bundle. The example they gave is the Dyson Mega Bundle equals 9 upgrade tokens. Anything from you guys?
I think we should note that this does include the new Advanced Light Cruiser bundle, so while this is going on, you will be able to pick up your Tier 6 Mirandas for cheaper than normal.
Yes, 20% off. And that's not anything to sneeze at.
Oh yeah.
It's about a 1,200 Zen difference, so instead of 6,000 or 60
Well,
bucks,
let's see.
it's 4,800. That's of course
Let's
assuming
see.
you're buying the
Discount
3-pack.
packs. Alright, cross-faction and advanced light cruiser bundle. Normally it is 6,000 Zen. Currently it is 4,800 Zen. So you are correct about a 1,200 Zen difference.
And sadly it doesn't show me the price because I already bought it, but anyway.
Yeah, that's why I look, because I haven't.
Yeah, that's, if you're
Yeah.
looking to invest into ships, especially picking up the new bundles, or maybe you've got that one particular ship you've been eyeing for a while, or you're like me, always running out of ship slots, then now's a
Yes.
very great time to invest.
But yeah, things that are usually 5,000 Zen will be 4,000. Things that are usually 10,000 will be 8,000. 6,000 will be 4,800, etc., etc., and you can calculate from there.
Yeah, that's, I guess that pretty much sums up everything, but, yeah, this will be going on until Monday, so get out there and buy them ships. But moving on, we have our Mirrors and Smoke Week 4 rewards.
Yes, so we've had the Mirrors and Smoke mission for 3 weeks now. We are now on week 4. And we now have the third piece of the ground set. We did have a interruption there with a space console, right?
It's a weapon slot.
It's
Weapon
an
slot,
extra
sorry.
weapon.
Weapon slot.
Yeah.
My brain just went console. Space
It's a-
weapon, thank
Yep.
you, yeah. However, we're back to the last piece of the ground set, and it is called the Kentari Partisan Residium Thrower. Try saying that 5 times fast. And this counts toward the excessive development set. And interesting note, if you get this on a lower level tune, because you can play this on a
Jesus
level
Christ.
10 character that's at least level 10, you get free upgrades up till level 12 of this of the set of all 3 of these pieces. So, nice little thing to note there.
Gonna interrupt for one
Yes.
quick moment. It is, there is a storm starting to pass this way, so I don't see an issue happening for anybody that's watching live. For people that watch this later on, you won't see any interruptions at all, but depending on what it does, I may have to bail before the show is done. I don't think that's going to happen, but just be aware of that if I have to shut down in a hurry. But anyways, continue.
Okay. So the yes, so and of course, whenever you do run a featured episode, you get the featured episode weekly reward box on the first character of your account, and you get a choice between an enhanced universal tech upgrade or a captain specialization point box. Both of these are account bound and can be traded to different levels on different characters on your account via the account bank. So there we go. Anyone want to comment? Anything?
I want to see how the Residium thrower works. Is it going to be like
I know, right?
the plasma thrower, like the flamethrower that we have, or is it going to be like a rifle that throws slugs of Residium?
I
And
can
again-
actually answer that question for you.
Oh,
And Brad was actually using that earlier today. We went through the mission a couple of times on our Lobby tunes to get some stuff. And it actually, for the main fire, shoots kind of like a flamethrower. And whenever it, if you've ever used the corrosive plasma, so it shoots the plasma everywhere, that's kind of how the secondary mode goes, except it fires it off in sort of a grenade type thing, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Interesting.
But yeah.
I'm excited. First the Kantari missiles, now this. It's like Christmas all over again.
Oh, funny.
He would love shooting his missile at things.
Hey, I've made a
Yes,
really
he
good
would.
build on a small craft. No other small craft can ever beat me now.
If it works, brother man, use it. Ain't gonna hear no complaints here. But the good thing is, for folks that we have seen, it does level up for free all the way to level 12. So, from what I'm seeing, this is going to be a pretty decent something as far as leveling goes. But, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts anyway.
Mm-hmm. And the 3-piece set does allow you to call in a bombardment of plasma residuum reactant. The target area is applied with a healthy coating of residuum reactant stacks. Once applied, you can then trigger this power again to deploy the catalyst within the hazardous area to deal additional damage based on the amount of residuum reactant stacks. So basically, you get it to dump a bunch of the one chemical, then you tell them, hey, bombard the other chemical, and everything goes boom. But yeah, that should be interesting.
So yeah, we will have this in the notes for you guys, definitely. I'd encourage y'all to go out there, get that featured box while you still can, a free spec point, or even a tech upgrade. That's nothing to sneeze at. But, yeah. But, moving along, we have our budget build for the evening. Now, this one actually came at the request of someone I ran into in-game. Was kind of helping him out a little bit, and he asked me about doing a build for him for a Mirror Neg VAR. I told him I would do that and kind of help him out a little bit. Now, this is a bare bones budget Mirror Neg VAR, because he didn't really tell me what his resources looked like, and if he did, I didn't see it. So, whenever that happens, we always default to the bare bones budgets to be on the safe side. Now, the Mirror Neg VAR, I'm sure a lot of you people remember this from back in the day. This is a Tier 5 ship. This is one of the old school Tier 5 ships. Everything on the KDF side. It's, kind of see the weapons layout and everything there. It is a 4-4. We've got 3 of each type of console to work with. Now, and that storm's starting to roll in a little bit, but still okay to keep going so far. But anyways, as far as weapons go, I decided to hook him up with a disruptor build and everything. For the forward weapons, we have 3 of the plasma disruptors and everything, and we also have the Nausicaan disruptor. For the rear weapons, we also have 3 more of the plasma disruptors, as well as the resonant disruptor. Now, the Nausicaan disruptor comes from the Echoes of Light mission, and the resonant disruptor also comes from the Blood of the Ancients mission. Now, he did request a tank specifically, so bearing that in mind, good lord, it's starting to sound nasty out there. But, as far as his shields, his engines, his warp core and everything, since he did want a tank, I decided to hook him up with the Soul Defense set. This comes from the Midnight mission. Now, what makes the Soul Defense set so good is actually the set bonuses that it gives. Just by having 2 of the pieces equipped, the set itself will essentially give you the equivalent of a free neutronium armor in terms of resistance value. So I believe it's 35 energy resist, and I want to think 25 kinetic. I don't remember the exact numbers, but essentially a free neutronium armor is the equivalent of what it gives. Then, as far as the warp core goes, since the Soul Defense set does not come with a warp core, we have to source one out. And we actually went with the Temporal Phase Overcharged core. This is a set you've seen me use quite a few times now, as well as the warp core. Now, if you're familiar with the Delta Recruitment event, you're probably familiar with a little device known as the Temporal Negotiator. Now, the Temporal Negotiator, what it did was allowed you to cut your bridge officer cooldowns in half for a short duration. With the Temporal Phase core, you essentially get that in the form of a warp core capacitor. So if you need to cool your abilities down in a hurry, this is a very nice core to have. It comes from the Butterfly mission. As far as devices go, I always prefer to think of them as personal preference, but one device I like to recommend, as well as my cohort Kirby, is the Subspace Field Modulator that comes from the Skirmish mission. It's a nice little defensive console, or not console, but device. It does debuff you against protonic damage by a sizable margin, but very few mobs actually use protonic damage. So that is one thing I do like to mention from time to time.
Yes.
As far
Well,
as...
the thing to,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, the thing to remember is until recently, we didn't have any mobs that did protonic damage, so there really was no downside to that device. So now just be careful and don't activate it when you with protonic damage. Yeah.
Okay. Recorder was acting weird for a second, but anyways, as far as engineering consoles go and everything, we used the Trillium D plating from Ragnarok. Now this gives the equivalent, or close to the equivalent, of a neutronium armor, as well as a field generator console. This is essentially a combination of those two items. So you get some resistances from it, as well as a sizable maximum shield capacity increase. Then, with this particular bare bones build, we did assume that he has at least tier 2 in all of the reps. So one of the consoles we did use was the 0 Point Energy Conduit. It's a very nice console to have, especially for the crit chance that it gives. Now, our one money item that we did use out of our 2 million EC budget is a conductive RCS accelerator. I was able to score one of these for 200k off the exchange, so not too terribly bad. For our science consoles, we have the Nausicaan Siphon Capacitor. This also gives us a 2 set for our Nausicaan, so this will give us the Disruptor Net ability. Everything, I believe I'm actually on my Keldon at the moment, so I can actually pull that up and show you as far as the 2-piece set right quick. So you can kind of see what's on the Nausicaan console itself and everything. You get a little bit of extra power transfer, a little bit of extra disruptor damage, but the disruptor net, you can kind of see what it does. Procs disruptor damage on the target. And then if you do want to, or if you did want to use the actual torpedo, you can kind of see the 3 set there. Even more disruptor damage, as well as some hull pin for that stuff. But anyways, for our other science consoles, we used the assimilated module that comes from the Omega Reputation. Very nice console to have for crit chance and some severity. And then finally, we have the Restorative Particle Focuser from the Crenham Science Lab. We did decide to go with one of those, with a Control X and EPG. Then for tactical consoles, we used the Harmonic Resonance Relay. I'll spit the name out in a minute. This is the other part of our Resonant Disruptor set. It also gives a bit of armor pen to weapons and everything, so that is a very nice thing to have. And we also have 2 of our disruptor induction coils from one of the missions. I don't remember. I think it is Echoes of Light you get these from as well. I'll put that in the notes.
I believe so.
But anyways, I did put everything in the notes for him, so he'll be able to find everything. Now, as far as the skills go, we'll take a look at this. As far as the skills go, I did not recommend an ultimate ability. This is pretty much my standard tank build that I'll recommend, usually to people. Kind of see we've got some points in improved hull cap, improved shield cap. We've got a little bit in the restoration for hull and shields. We maxed out our energy weapon training. We also made sure to pick up the improved EPS flow. We have a point in impulse expertise. We did pick up the improved control and drain expertise, because you never know what kind of stuff he's going to run into, and also due to a buff power that we're going to be looking at. We also maxed out the targeting expertise as well as the defensive maneuvering. Due to the changes to fall, you're going to want a little bit of accuracy to kind of offset that penalty a bit. Since you wanted a tank, I did put all 3 points into the armor stat to pick up the blade of hull and everything. We've got a couple points in shield hardness. We did max out the weapon amplification and the weapon specialization. Now the weapon amplification, it says in the builder that it's only a 20% bonus. However, with Season 13, that is actually doubled to a 40% bonus. And then we also have the specialization that's actually decreased to a 4% bonus. So just keep that in mind. As far as the captain skills, we did pick up the defensive subsystem tuning and offensive because extra power is always nice. Now we put 2 points into the exotic particle generators and maxed out our long-range targeting sensors. Then as far as our tactical for the captain, I maxed out the shield penetration, and I know Kirby always likes to use the hull pin. There really is
Yes, I do.
no right or wrong answer to this. It's just a matter of which you prefer. I prefer the shield pin, that way I can bypass their shields a little bit more beforehand, whereas Kirby values the hull pin a bit more, because it does allow you to stack up with other bypasses, which is always very nice. But we also have the 2 points in the shield mastery, because that does allow you to negate a critical hit once in a while, which is very nice to have as a tank. And then our final point is in warp core potential, because extra power is always good. But that's our overall skills as far as that is. For our specializations, I did recommend pilot and strategist, because they give, in my opinion, the best defensive values when you combo them together. Pilot has a lot of nice defensives and general immunities. Strategist also has a lot of nice buffs to work with as well, depending on whether or not you're in threatening stance. Then, finally, as far as our bridge officer powers go, we'll take a look at our traits last. The ship itself is locked into a specific set, and did that not have... Huh. Apparently it didn't slot gravity well for me. So I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah. I was going to ask what that third science was meant to be.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that, but anyway.
Yeah.
The downside to the ship, and one of the drawbacks a little bit, is it is locked to a specific layout, so that is something that does limit it a bit. But still, it can be made into a very effective tank. I know it's a ship I used for a long time on my KDF tunes. For the Lieutenant Tactical seat, I hooked him up with a Fall 1 and an Attack Pattern Beta. That way he can do some damage with his beams and also have access to an attack pattern, because didn't really want to leave him hanging without one. And as far as his Ensign Tactical, we went with a tactical team. That'll redirect his shields as well as purging certain buffs, or debuffs I should say, such as boarding parties. Then for his Commander Engineering, we went with an Engineering Team 1, a Reverse Shield Polarity 1, then we went with an Emergency Power to Weapons 3, As an engineering character, which I probably should have mentioned, that's the type of character this is for. But since he's an engineer, he should be able to train this on his own without having to buy it, or he can pick it up for pretty cheap. Then the final ability we have is the Emit Unstable Warp Bubble ability. Everything. This actually comes from the Broken Circle mission, so I do need to correct myself. For the past few times I've recommended the ability, I have been saying it is from the Delta Flight mission when that's actually not the case. So that is one correction I do want to make. Then for the Lieutenant Engineering, I hooked him up with a duplicate Engineering Team 1. This purges a lot of debuffs and everything from you, as well as giving you the hull healing. And then I decided to go with a duplicate of emergency power to weapons. If need be for extra survival, you could swap that out for an Oxed Sif, or perhaps a duplicate reverse shield polarity. Otherwise, you can stick with the emergency to weapons for some extra damage potential. For the Lieutenant Commander Science, we went with a Hazard Emitters 1 and a Science Team 2. That way you could purge certain effects, such as the subnucleonic type effects, as well as some shield regen, and also a Gravity Welt to kind of group enemies up a little bit. But as far as Bridge Officer powers, that's what we went with and everything. But hopefully you can kind of see what I'm going with as far as the restorative particle focuser and everything. Hopefully maybe the guy that made this build for us actually watching this. He said he might get to, so it'd be kind of cool if he is. Then as far as our traits go, tell me that didn't refuse to slot another trait, and sure enough it did.
Did it lose a trait?
Yes, it did. I don't know. Then as far as the space traits go, we have Accurate to improve the space weapons accuracy to offset the fall penalty a bit. Now since I'm assuming he didn't level any of his R&D up because of our conversations, we did not actually use the R&D traits this go around. We do have the Beam Training for free beam damage. This is one of the free traits that give you. We have Elusive for defensive value. And we have the EPS Manifold Efficiency, which is a boost to batteries and everything. It's a free trait that engineers get, so I thought, why not? We have Fleet Coordinator for free damage based on how many people are in your party, including yourself. We have Grace Under Fire because it's the engineering trait you get for free. Very, very potent trait. Then we have the Nanite Repair Matrix, which comes from the Midnight Mission. Very good one to have. And we also have the Point Blank Shot. This comes from the House Peg mission. And now the space trait shows up. Weird. Then finally we have Operative for a little bit of crit chance and severity, because why not? Now, normally, like I was saying, we might use one or two of the R&D traits here. However, from the conversations, I was kind of able to glean that he didn't have any of them available. So that's why we didn't slot anything here. Then as far as his Starship traits go, I recommended Pedal to the Metal because it does come from Pilot. And also the Unconventional Tactics from Strategist, whenever he eventually is able to get there, assuming he doesn't already have them. And then finally, the last Starship trait I recommended was the Best Defense. This comes also from the House Peg mission, and adds a healing buff to attack patterns. As far as reputations go, we decided to use the Advanced Targeting Systems for the Dyson for free severity. Precision from the Romulan rep for free crit chance. I did say Advanced Engines from Delta, because extra turn rate is nice, especially on a cruiser like that. And then finally the Chronocapacitor Array to cool down his Bridge Officer powers a bit. It's still a very nice thing to have on the cheap and everything. But as far as reputations go, this again assumes only a level 2 in each of these reputations. So we don't have any active rep to work with like we normally would. But if we look at our overall costs and build time, for the total dilithium, you're looking at about 32,500. So fairly cheap in terms of dilithium compared to some of the other stuff out there. We only spent 200,000 of our 2 million EC budget. Now the total build time he's looking at is about 6 days. This assumes he's got 6 days put into each of these reputations. That'll get them all to tier 2. This of course assumes he's not using a sponsorship token. And it'll take him 5 days to refine all of the dilithium he'll need. So fairly decent build, I think. Everything. Comments, questions, thoughts, anybody?
Oh, it looks good. I'm glad to see that you put the chronocapacitor array as an answer for the tactical bridge officer abilities, especially because there's no room for duplication.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, it's a pretty good ship. I kind of hate that he's stuck with just a specific bridge officer layout and everything, but, I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere. You got to work with what you got, so hopefully he's able to take it and do some good with it. It's, like I say, it's a ship I've used for a while, especially on my KDF, but if you see this dude and everything, this is a build. I did say I would hook you up with one and everything, and if not, I'll PM it to you in game at some point and give you the link. But yeah, that's one of the cheaper builds we've done. We're getting pretty good at not spending EC on these things, or spending less than $1 million.
And the RP community thanks you.
I'm sure they do. Yeah,
Glad
you
to
can
hear
see
that.
here, we always include in our notes where you can get everything as far as the bare bones budgets themselves. In this case, we always default to a bare bones budget when we don't know the exact budget parameters of someone's character. For our budget builds, we assume a maximum EC spending limit of 2 million EC, with everything else being free or as cheap as absolutely possible. The bare bones budgets, we also assume that resources are extremely limited, and all of your resources went into acquiring the ship, or you just didn't really have a lot of resources to begin with. But anyways, going on to the bugs corner, I do have a few interesting ones for you guys. We watch our doofus character's air guitar. Now, this is one for the console players, and this is one that a Cryptic developer had actually requested help with, as far as on the forums and everything. There's a few people reporting, or at least one guy in particular for this one, that some of these set pieces are actually not showing up on the ability wheels. So if, for example, you equipped the Jem'Hadar 3-piece with the new UI and everything for the game, on the Xbox, it is not showing up that you can use any of the set piece abilities. So if you are seeing this, as the developer had said, they thought it was fixed, but if you are seeing this, please report that, because, excuse me, that is a very, very game-breaking thing if you can't use some of the abilities that you have, or should have, I should say. But yeah, come on to the Xbox forums, tell them, hey, I'm seeing this too, and hopefully we can help them get that nailed down. Now, the next one is another very serious one. This one guy and one or two more have actually reported. He engaged his battle cloak on his temporal raider. Can't talk today. He engaged his battle cloak, but lo and behold, the ship cannot uncloak. So he either has to die, or he repeatedly hits the cloak button until it decides to register. Now, I don't really have to say it that that's a huge issue, but again, if you do see something like this, please let them know, because that's game breaking. Final one, we have a guy reporting for his Tier 6 Vestas that the heavy tachyon mine is actually not proccing from the subsystem target attacks as it's supposed to. So if you have the trait slotted, what is supposed to happen is it spawns a mine whenever you use certain abilities. Everything it is... whenever you activate Beam Overload, Fire at Will, Cannon Rapid Fire, I believe you meant to say Scatter Volley for one of those as well, or any subsystem target ability, it will spawn the mine. He's saying he's not seeing it, so if anybody else out there is seeing that, then please speak up. Anytime you see a bug like this, especially now with the different sub-forums, feel free to come on and tell them, hey, I'm seeing this type of a bug, this is what it's doing, this is how to reproduce it. If you're getting, if you're able to get screenshots or video, that's even better, because that helps them actually see it, and perhaps they can notice something that we missed on the player side. Feel free to, if you know my @tag, if you find me on the forums, feel free to PM me and I can write a report for you guys. Feel free to let one of my cohorts know, they'll pass it along, everything. But we do like to see stuff get fixed, especially stuff that stops progression. Everything.
Yes.
But that's pretty much what we've got as far as the bugs go for this week. But moving right along, we have our Teacher's Corner. So what have you got for us this week?
Well, I went with the timely, kind of obvious video. I did a walkthrough for the mirror event.
And I've apparently got the wrong video loaded. Joy.
Oh no! Did I link the wrong video?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I had a fleet R&D, but anyway.
Okay, that was last week's.
Whoopsie.
But yeah, I went through the I went and walked through the mirror event and gave my advice and on how best to do it. The one thing that I see people always forgetting is not closing the rifts. So, yeah. Anyway, but I walk you through each stage, give some advice on how best to finish it, so that you're not pulling your hair out and going, oh my god, there's so many ships, I'm gonna die. But, yeah. Thoughts, comments?
I'm truly happy because I'm going to send this video to everyone as soon as I jump into a team to do invasion now, just to make sure everyone knows what to do.
Sounds like something he would do.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, won't even be able to start the event, the mission yet. Be like, hey guys, prep talk. Do you guys know what you're doing? Do you know? All right. Here, watch this informative video. Let me know when you're done. It's going to take about 20 minutes.
You would.
Yeah, he totally would.
He totally would. I know, right?
Hey, I want as much marks as I can get.
I don't
I
blame
know,
you.
right? Yeah, and that's the other thing, is that closing rifts gets you marks. But yeah.
And it lets the station survive, which also gets you marks.
It does. It's what people always forget. If you close the rifts, new bad guys won't spawn. Anyway. So, in case you haven't gotten the idea, close the rifts. Anyway. So.
Yeah, do we need to get a t-shirt of your face that says "Close the Rifts" and just start selling them at the next convention, or the next get-together or something?
There you go.
We're
just gonna get Bothell Station with and then close the rifts.
Firing station plasma lance in 3, 2, 1.
Miss.
Yeah, I couldn't resist. But
So,
we will
yeah.
have a link to the video for everybody. Definitely check that out, especially if you're looking to hit up the event. Definitely worth it for the console, I think, and for the dill. But, moving along to our final segment of the evening, we have the RP Corner with Artie. What have you got for us, dude?
Okay, well, a few people from multiple different in-game fleets have asked me, "Hey, I have friends over in another fleet, and we all know we all do roleplay events. What if we all want to do something together? What would that be?" Well, simply enough, that's known as a interfleet event. When two or more fleet groups join up together for uh, RP events, more or less. One of these I've seen before is, say, for a full weekend, everyone just decides to go, all right, here's a mission. Do you happen to know that last time this guy showed up, he was fighting this fleet over at somewhere else, and that just happens to be the other fleet that you're going to be role-playing with. And they're just, and out of character, everyone knows that this is going to happen, but in character, everyone's just like, okay, we'll contact those guys, we'll go join up, and we go do something about this. That happens. Most times I see this happening, it's usually for special reasons, like, say, the Iconian War was a good one. The Iconian War was such a large, mass-scale conflict that most RP fleets were able to join in with other RP fleets for major engagements against the Heralds or the just everyone, basically. But some things like this happen, and easy enough. You'd play this like you would any RP event. You would have your GMs, you would have your players, and you would have all the information that you know. For something like this, most people tend to have either like two or more game masters to run the event, just in case someone decides to use the wrong chat in a different fleet, and so they can still relay information between the two GMs, so they know what's going on between all the players on the field. Otherwise, they use special in-game channels and such like that. I've used some custom-made channels just so we all like, all right, everyone has the channel. If you don't, let me know. That's where most of the role play, like over comms, are going to be taking place. Just so nobody has to go. All right, I'm going to use the fleet channel as my in-character dialogue, and it's like, well, half the other people won't see that, so that's where some confusion lies. But that's just something that's going to happen. People do it. It happens. It's easy enough that most fleets just know what to do. If it's like, basically, say, let me see if I can think of an example, actually. Let's go with two fleets know that there's a common foe that they both need to go take care of. One of them encountered this guy and went, where we've seen this guy before. Well, they haven't, but another fleet has. So they decided to go, all right, we'll send a ship that way. They'll bring a ship back over. We'll talk between the two fleets and be like, hey, let's join together and go beat this guy up. Essentially, that's how it all ends up. Boom, done. Simple. What are you guys thinking?
Sounds good.
Definitely sounds interesting. I definitely can see why fleets would want to hold an event, team up and fight common things. It would definitely be, sounds like it would be fun.
Yeah. Ever since the Armada set up for the fleets, a lot of roleplay fleets have been getting together and be like, hey, other people in the Armada, would you like to come over to our starbase? We're having a get-together. There may be some excitement that you can be a part of, and you'll be some special guest for the episode, basically. It would be like, say, you know how in TNG, Riker ends up having a double of himself due to a transporter thing, and then in DS9, that double shows up? That's basically how it's going to be. Oh, you're the guy from that episode. You showed up. You're the special guest. Yeah, I'm the special guest. That's how it ends up in other fleets sometimes. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
The short of it is, depending on how it all ends up. Most people really like these events because you get just to meet the other fleet and just see how they get to run things and how their characters are built. So you get to basically make new friends, and then it's also free advertisement technically, because they'll be like, "Oh, you're that cool fleet. I'll totally have a character made just so I can go hang out with you guys more." So that's the short of it.
Sounds pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah. Sounds like fun.
But, anyways, folks, that's pretty much what we've got for y'all this evening. Hopefully, y'all have been able to find the information of use. We'll have everything in the notes for you guys once the local recording goes up, assuming I don't get blown to the land of Oz, that is. But thankfully, it seems that the brunt of it, or at least the wind, has died down out there. But also a shout out to our good friends over at the Temporal Armada, who are kind enough to sponsor us and everything, and who might be listening in to some extent. Everything. If you have a budget build or anything you'd like us to go over, feel free to submit the build to us and everything. Tell us, hey, I've got kind of this budget, this is the ship I'm looking for, everything, and we'll see what we can't come up with for you and everything. In fact, today's budget build was actually from a random person in game that asked me for a little bit of help after talking with him for a bit. So we don't care to help you out. And if you'd like to help, or if you'd like us to help improve your piloting a little bit as well, feel free to submit that stuff to us as well. Again, we're here to help in any way that we can. Also, if you'd like to see Pilot Review out at Las Vegas, we do have a GoFundMe that we will have a link for as well. And everything. This is to cover some of the expenses, such as the electricity, as well as the internet, and some of the expenses that go along with that. And everything. If you'd like to help us out with that, feel free to donate. Any little bit helps. And everything. If you don't have any cash you could donate and help us out with, then just spreading the word helps as well. We are grateful for any and all help that you guys can give. Without our viewers out there, we wouldn't even have a show in the first place. So if you want to see more fun, more shenanigans, more impromptu interviews and everything, then consider supporting us for the Vegas convention and everything. And it was even just being able to sit back and rebroadcast was pretty fun. I know Kirby got some impromptu interviews.
Yep.
So maybe she'll land some more this year.
I'll be trying. I'll be trying.
Anyways, folks, for now, this is the Pilot Review Show, and we're warping out of here.
Bye.